Hi, welcome back. Yeah, working on looking at the modular units. This thing is absolutely littered with modular units, little pieces like this. Now I'll just throw up a picture of how it was before I did this. It's just painted black basically. It's got the problem I've got, not a problem, the time consuming part of this element is that the framework of this is like a TV screen thing, like a, I don't know what it is actually. Can't be a radar screen, I don't think they have radar in these, but anyway. That's black, and then all around this, the bit that's now exposed is green, but it's all moulded together in one piece. So it's quite tricky to paint, and I've tried my best to mask it off. You can't mask it all because you can't simply, in there for instance, that's supposed to be still black. But trying to mask in there is impossible. It's just, you can't cut the tape and you can't make it accurate enough. So I'm doing my best to mask it off, and I'll paint those green. I've got my little stopwatch going up, so that's an hour and 14 minutes so far to get to this point. Now I've got to confess, half an hour of that was spent looking for this because I lost the front of it. That goes on the front of there. That's this unit here that's got to be painted multiple colours and things. I've had the bin out. I had it all over the place. I just could not find that at all, and it ended up being stuck to the back of that tape like that, and it was like that. You couldn't see it. Drove me nuts trying to find it. I thought the carpet monster had got it, and I don't have a carpet. It's got hard floor in it. But anyway, so yeah, half an hour at least was looking for that. So yeah, I'm going to paint this green now, and I'll be back. So before we do that, I need to thank you for people. I've had a few memberships to the channel, which I really appreciate. And I've had a few thanks as well, with little donations in there. So that's really, really appreciated. Thank you very much. It certainly helps keeping this thing going, and it gives you a boost to keep doing this. So the next job, as I say, paint this green, and I'll be back in a minute. Okay, if I deduct off the half an hour looking for that part, it's about an hour that just to paint that and mask it. Quite happy with it though. That's where it fits. By the way, I've not glued it on. It's just kind of a decent fit, I suppose. So the next bit to do with that is to do this front piece there that goes on there like that. That's like a pale blue colour with various colours, and there's a decal on the top there. So I'm going to work on that next. But yeah, this is the difference between 72nd and 48th scale. Even 48th, you can't do this sort of detail because there's no on earth you could paint that tiny and mask it and paint it that accurately. I don't think you could. At least I can't. But yeah, you're up in your game considerably when it comes to this scale. I think this scale's easier to build. The only downside to it is it takes longer because the opportunity and the ability to create more detail is there. The more detail you add to the kit, the more time it takes to build it. But I think it's quite rewarding when you do it. But there you go. So yeah, I'll throw up. I'm going to finish this bit off. I'll start on this bit next. And again, that's just another piece that goes in this cockpit. I've seen other people mention on the comments that this cockpit takes more than the rest of the model almost put together. And I can see why, because there's lots in it. There's lots of pieces in there. This is another piece. This goes here. I think it fits just there like that. And they made it hollow, haven't they, because that's how it works. But there's quite a lot of bits to pick out on just that little tiny piece. And every one of these little modular pieces like this, you're looking at an hour's work at least to do it. And there's lots of them. I haven't even started on they've got the instrumentation or the seat yet for the navigator, that is. So yeah, a lot of work in this cockpit. Okay, I've painted this thing the appropriate colour, which is like a light grey colour, and then we need to pick out the detail of these dials. Now these dials are varying colours. This particular one is satin black. I'm not painting it with satin black, I'm painting it with just any old black, but matte, because I'll lacquer it again when I've finished. Now this has been glossed because I find, well, I've got to put a decal on there anyway, but when I'm painting this sort of stuff with a brush, if the surface is glossy, it tends the paint flows better. So that's, I'm just letting that dry a bit. I'll put a bit more on there. So that's that dialed on. Back with other colours. So we've got this little strip at the side, silver. And we've got various white, yellow, stuff like that. What I'm trying to do is paint the whole of the button, not just the top of it, which a lot of people see do. They just dab colours on the tops. That's not good enough for me. So I'll be back on the next colour. Okay, this is quite difficult to do on camera because everything's so small. Did a bit of a touch up there when I just slipped with the brush. So we're getting there. Got a few white ones to do. Got white buttons. These two bottom ones are white, so I'll do those. Okay, first decal goes just there. So I'll put some softener. Right, just leave that to do its thing. When that's dry, I'll lacquer it again, panel liner it, and that should call that a day. Okay, I'm going to call that done. 2.5 hours that to make that. That was when you join the two pieces together, it's in two halves. You have to kind of clean all the bits up and stuff. So it needed a bit of work getting that right as well. It's gone great actually because there was a bit of slightly a bit of green in the airbrush when I painted it, when I lacquered it, so it made it go very, very slightly grey, which I quite like actually. So yeah, that's done. It's not glued on yet, but yeah, that's that modular piece done. So so far in this kit, please excuse the cat. She does nothing but squawk all the time. Drives me mental. I don't want to bother. So there we go, that's two more, that's another piece, that's one modular piece, that's another modular piece. About 8 hours work altogether so far there. Okay, we're now on to the next part, which is going to be, well, we've got this assembly, and the guns go through this part actually at the front. Now this bit fits, as I've mentioned earlier in the video actually. It goes there like that. But there is quite a bit of detail to pick out on this. So that'll need painting before that's fitted onto there. And then we've got like this is inside the Bombay area, if you like, or the front part of it. Then we've got a few bottles and some other little gizmos, I don't know what they do. So they need painted up first, and then the whole that bit can be completed as far as I'm concerned at the moment. And then we go back over onto this side of it, and then this unit I've already built fits onto there. Obviously this will need painting first, and there's some more furniture bits need fitting, painting and stuff. And then we've got another modular unit, which is this piece here and that piece there. It never ends. And then you've got the I've already fitted these because they are actually the same colour as this bit. So they're the mounting parts for the guns. And then when that bit's done, we move on to the seat for the navigator and as appropriate seat belts. So I'm not gonna film all of this, because if I do it for every modular bit that's in this thing, it'll take forever. I think it'll become quite dull. So every single one of these little modular units like this, I can't film all of it because there's just too many. This cockpit's so complex. It's really nice to do, I've got to say. It's a lovely kit, really nice kit. I don't know why anybody needs to put aftermarket in this at the moment. I have seen no evidence of how you could improve it particularly. I'm quite happy with it as it is anyway. So I'm going to get these bits done off camera. I might show a bit of this backrest, but not much, because it's just basically the same as the pilot seat really. It has got a decal on it. I'm showing that. I think these yellow circles, I think they mean they're armoured. I don't know if that's what it means. And there's a glass window in that headrest there. Obviously not putting the navigator in, and then it shows you how to do the navigator without the navigator. So that's the version I'll be doing there. So I'm going to get all those bits done, I think, off camera. I'm hoping that people will be happy with that. Get the foot pedals. They're just basically simple pieces there. I don't know what that gizmo does. Attaching rudder pedals, something else. And then we're on to instrumentation. Now I'll show that in more detail. And then after that, I'm not going to put the guns in at this point because they'll just get in the way. I'm hoping, I need to check that before I get this far. I might have to put them in at this point, but I don't see why I have to do, because the nose fits on separately. And if you put the guns in now, they're just going to get in the way and they get broken. So this part of the build, I think I can avoid that. And then you move on to the fuselage sides and putting all the detail and stuff onto the fuselage side. Never ends. It takes so long to get this fuselage to a position where you can actually get the thing together. So I'm a bit cautious of making too many videos about just the cockpit, because people will still think it's really dull. So anyway, I'll build up these bits that I've mentioned before, and what I'm going to do is take stills of the progress, and you can just see them as stills as it progresses, and let's see how that goes. So back in a bit. Okay, I've fitted all the bits that are the same colour. So there's this piece here that's got a decal on it, that one there, there's this piece here, that piece, that can't be, that's a different colour altogether. That bit's going on, but it's going to get painted green anyway, because it's got access to pick out on that as well. That's a separate colour, these are separate colours. So I'm going to paint that green, all this assembly green, and then we can start picking out detail on it. So back in a bit. Okay, a bit more progress has been made. Please excuse the weird noise in the background, that's rain. It's quite heavy rain at the moment. So I've painted this piece that we were talking about earlier that fits under there. That bit just goes there like that. It just becomes part of the bulkhead, it kind of blends into it. Quite cleverly made is that. So that bit can be, I think that can be fitted now actually. That bit's already done, that bit's already done. And I've also painted the cockpit floor. Now the seat goes, because that goes there. Quite a lot of it's hidden when the seat's in place, but I'm doing my best with it anyway. I have put a decal just there. I'll just put zoom in on that. It's not quite dry yet, but come on, so focus. There's a first aid box obviously. It must have some leather straps on holding it shut or something. I'm assuming it's tossed for flat brown. I've just used red brown because it's near enough. And then it's got like a canvassy bag over the control bit for the joystick, or control column, or what you want to call it. There's some silver accents where the gun mounts are. Now anybody that's building this and weathering it, be careful not to weather it with metal, because this is all wood. I'll throw a picture now of what they look like when they're not painted. This is one that's been restored, I think, this picture I'm going to show you, but this area is wood, but it has got metal parts on it, but the actual floor, or the basic structure of the whole thing, is made out of wood. What I am going to do now, I'm going to put some panel liner in some places just to pick it out. You can't really overdo this stuff because you can just wipe off what you don't want. It doesn't play nice with unvarnished paint, so be careful when you put it. And I haven't varnished this stuff. I don't mind if it gets a bit stained, to be fair, because it looks fine on canvasy stuff. I'm actually going to put it on there quite liberally, and I'll remove what I don't want. It does quite a nice job just picking out the detail. Again, this won't be seen very much. I'm taking a bit of a risk here, so I haven't varnished this either. You see how it blooms if you're not careful. This is lacquer based paint now, so it should be not too bad. When it's dry, I'll remove most of it anyway. It's quite difficult to get hold of this stuff. This panel liner, it's Tamiya panel liner. It's really good stuff. I've tried making my own, but it's never got as good. I don't know why. I still think it's one of the best ones to use. I'm not going to do anything in there at the moment, but I will do this bit. This silver is brush painted Vallejo silver. I think it looks really cool on silver as panel liner. It brings it out nicely. Let's run right around that box. That's enough, I don't want to put any more on there. So I'm just going to let those bits dry, and then I'll clean off the excess, and then I'm going to assemble those parts now and get it starting to build the thing up a bit now. So it's getting a bit too bitty now, so we can start gluing bits to this now. Okay, there we go, that's the seat and the whatever this device is at the back. Can somebody if they're watching this and know what that is, can you let me know what this device does? I'm just curious really. I could look it up somewhere I suppose, but it's not obvious, so it doesn't mention it in the kit what it is. It's called a key, that's G-E-E indicator unit. I have no idea what a key indicator unit is, but that's what it is. So anyway, there you go. Now that's a front bulkhead there. That's where the guns go through. I haven't done any more panel liner on this area yet, because I want to give it a coat of lacquer first, actually, because I don't want it to just as I say, it can bloom if you're not careful, and it did a little bit there. So the whole thing's going to get probably another coat of lacquer. I use it all the time, and you can't overdo it really. It's very difficult. Just a light coat of lacquer just seals it all in, and it just protects everything. So yeah, I'll do that when I get around to varnishing something else. I'll give that a coat of lacquer first. So we need to move on next. So we need to build this box up, which is the drift sight. Apparently, it says attaching drift sight. I'll zoom you back out a bit. It's quite a lot. That's mainly green. There's a piece of PE there that you have to bend. I don't know what it fastens to. We'll find out. Then there's a few other bits and pieces and stuff. So I need to build that unit, and that fits when it's built up just there. And then we're moving on to the navigator's seat assembly and all the gubbins that go with it. It's not two parts. One's with the navigator sat in it, and one's with the navigator sat out of it, this is the one I'm doing there. And once that's built up, we can fit it into just here. It sits around here, I think. Yeah, it sits there. So he can use his drift sight, whatever it does. Yeah, and his key indicator. So there you go. And then we've got the pilot's foot pedals. I think that's a trim wheel, probably. No, it isn't a trim wheel. It can't be. It's on the wrong side. Doesn't tell you what it is on there. And a few more bits underneath there. Foot pedals, as I say. and then we're on to instrumentation. So I think once I get to the instrumentation, that's where the video is going to end. But and then we'll move on. So I'm not going to do the guns because, as I say, they'll just get in the way. As long as I can get them in afterwards, that is, of course. So I'll be back when we'll start building this bit. Right, anybody watching the video last time I was talking about cutters and stuff like that, somebody mentioned get some better cutters. So I looked around at a few and I've seen these on Amazon. I used to have some nail clippers that were straight like this, and these are Uber nail clippers. These are ingrowing toenail clippers, and they're beasts. They're fantastic, and I find them really good for this job. So that's what I ended up getting. Because you can get some super duper ones that cost about 50 quid, which I don't mind spending it if they did the job. But I thought, well, I'll just give these a shot, and I've got to say, they're pretty good, and they're sharp as razor blades. They really are. So I'm quite liking these. So anyway, top tip: Amazon ingrowing toenail cutters. Alright, beastie things. Right, okay. The components and this are really weird. When you build it, you think you could just glue it all together and paint it green, but you can't, because that bit is painted khaki inside. It must be some sort of canvas-based material. And then this bit fits on top of it like that, so you can't get inside it. So, and then this bit fits there and leaves a gap underneath it, so you can't even paint that on top of there. So you've got to paint all individual pieces green first, then you've got a piece of PE which is there. I'll just zoom in. Bear with me, I've got a bit of Pink Floyd in my headphones. I'm listening to Wish You Were Here album. What do other people listen to when they're building models? I listen to all sorts of stuff, but I've got to say this album's a bit of a classic. So yeah, we've got that strap which is PE, and then there's these two bits, and these are all silver and black and stuff. So you've got to paint every single piece separately. I'll be back when I've done those. Okay, that's that unit built. Didn't take too much actually, it was okay. But, it's just a case of painting each individual piece, glue it all together, and voila. And that bit now fits just there. Just there. So I'm not sure what this little metal bracket's for yet. It must go to somewhere. But that can be glued in place now, so I'll do that now. Okay, I've completed the navigator's seat now. Just a case of assembling the bits, painting up. It's not difficult really. It did ask you to use a mask in the kit to mask that window out there, because this whole top piece is a clear part. Well, the mask on Tamiya kits, you don't get the masks aren't cut out. It's just I'll show you them. They're like this. They don't cut them out. You've got to cut them out yourself. Well, cutting out a circle. It's not easy to, is it really? So I have a circle cutter, so I basically made my own masks to do that. So they're done okay. Seat belts just like the other one was, basically. So it's just an emulation of the pilot seat. And a couple of decals. I think, as I say, I think they're to simulate armoured metal, but I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody could tell me in the comments. So that's now done. It's all lacquered up and done and everything, and that can now go into the cockpit. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, there we go. That's the seat fitted. No dramas on that. So that's as far as I've got after 14 hours of work. Yeah, it's quite a labour-intensive sort of model is this so far. Quite happy with it. It's nice to make. I've got to make a confession. I don't like making cockpits. I don't like when I make a model, any model, regardless of scale. I feel a lot happier once the fuselage sides are together and it's like a whole, and I can start working on the outside of it. The inside bits don't really do it for me. I do like doing engines though, and it's got two of them on it. So I'm quite looking forward to doing engines, but cockpits leave me a little bit cold really. I'm not that bothered, but it is quite a prominent part of the model. It shows quite a lot, does this one, because you can see it from the entrance door if you look through the side, and it's got a big massive canopy on the top. So I'm doing my best with it. So I'm going to leave the video at this point. I reckon by the time I finish yabbering on it, it'll be about 30 minutes long. I'll put a few pictures up of this thing as it's done, as it is now. So yeah, 30 minutes for each one I think is appropriate. I think I can't compress it anymore because you just won't see anything. So yeah, that's as far as we've got. The next stage, I'll put in a few little bits of detail that's not necessary to fill. The next stage will be getting instrumentation done, and then putting in the. So I'll go through the stages. I'll just zoom you back out again. So we've done that bit. That's that part done. I'll do these bits. It's just the foot pedals. There's nothing exciting about those at all. A little bit of something at the side there, and then we're onto this little unit here. This is all instrumentation. Some of it's PE actually with decals in it, and that kind of completes. Once that's done, that completes the actual cockpit. Onto the guns. I need to decide, as I said before, if they'll fit later on, because I don't want to put them in now if I can help it. But I do have to fit all the furniture on the fuselage sides, so that'll be on the next video. As will this central unit here, which goes somewhere in here. I can't remember. Because I want to get the next video. The next video will get to the point where I can join the fuselage sides together. Then we'll have a bit of substance then. So it includes actually building the tail wheel assembly. Nose cone, I'm not going to build that. I can get away with it. There's no point. And then it goes on to the actual flying surfaces like the tail, but I'll do those again. Building the flying surfaces, it's just like any other model, and you just glue them together. But the tail wheel assembly is quite detailed actually. And then that's done, out to the engines. Yay! Quite looking forward to those. I'm not sure if I'm going to detail both of them, because I don't know if I want both on display. I don't know. I'll think about that one. The covers are fastened on with magnets and stuff like that, so it should be. They are removable. So, but building these two Merlins up will be great. So I'll be back. The next video, as I say, will be instrumentation. I've ordered a couple more little kits, and just to break this up, because it's quite intense sort of work. I've ordered an Airfix 148 scale Hurricane, because I haven't done a Hurricane yet, and I fancied doing one of those. And I've also ordered a 177 scale Hampton, a classic kit, so the mouldings are going to be rubbish, aren't they? But I quite like the challenge of making something decent out of something that isn't, so we'll see. Again, they're quite cheap kits, so I can just build one of those, and they're quite easy to build as well, or quite quick to build, in between doing this sort of intense sort of work. So the next video you see, well actually, the next video you're going to see from me will be the 1/72 scale Heinkel that I built for Airfix for their video. So I can release that in another 6 days, because the agreement was I could do the video for them, and then 2 weeks after they'd released their cut down version of it, I can do mine, which is 40 minutes long. So yeah, you'll see that in another, well, what a time of me talking about this, in another 6 days, which is the 27th, I think. On the 27th, I'm going in for an outpatient's appointment to have a hernia repaired. So I might be a bit out of action after that, but not for very long, I don't think. But it is a general anaesthetic, which I've never had in my life, so that'll be fun. Can't wait for that one. That's this Saturday coming. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you like it, please subscribe, give us give us a thumbs up or whatever. If you want to donate to the channel, great, just do a thanks at the bottom. And if you want to become a channel member, feel free to do that. No, I'm just putting a gun to your head. If you can do it, that's great. If you can't, don't worry about it. So thanks for watching. Here's a couple of stills of this, and I'll catch you on the next one.